Hi everyone. Thank you again for being such great partners in the Lifelines prevention curriculum that your school utilizes to teach suicide prevention. This is a training offered through the Mental Health Association of Monmouth County, and today I am Nicole Nolan and I am your trainer who will give you a quick pep talk coming back into school to deliver our curriculum. There are several components of the Lifelines curriculum. First and foremost, before you can deliver directly to students, you must have an all faculty and staff training. There is a video available on our YouTube webpage that is a pre-recorded faculty and staff training that you can utilize with your staff members. Additionally, there's also a parent workshop on that YouTube site that you can use to push out to your parents. What makes our program best practice is that it is a collaborative approach to school suicide prevention. This means that everyone has a role to play, and we've educated our faculty, staff, and parents on what the curriculum will entail and how to get someone help if they should need it. After you've completed the faculty staff training and the parent workshop, you can move directly into delivering the student curriculum. There are specific curriculum that we will go over today for grades 5th or 6th, grades 7th through 10th, or grades 11 or 12. Please remember that student curriculum should start no earlier than the beginning of October. Here's what to remember about your faculty and staff training. It's short and sweet for a reason. It reiterates the facts and the warning signs for suicide risk. It explains your school's referral procedure. It clarifies the teacher and staff role. And it goes over a summary of the curriculum that will be delivered directly to students. So if you remember from the original trainings, we had 3 magic words for the teacher and staff role, which is critical but limited. You are in a critical position to notice when something may be going on with a student that you're concerned about, but you are also limited. Your role is to learn the signs of risk in suicide, be able to identify students at risk using those signs, and know how to refer students to in-school resources. While you are teaching the curriculum, there are certainly moments that may present where you may become worried about a student that you have. If you are worried the risk is so serious that it needs immediate attention, see something and say something. The faculty training should go over the school's procedure for referral, and you will know how to get any student in your class to the help that they need. The parent recording. Right now, it's possible to consider having a virtual parent meeting or using our pre-recorded video that is available on our YouTube website. Explain the competent school community and suicide prevention and that parents have a role to play. The parent training will also review the curriculum so that they are aware of what their students are learning in their healthcare classes, and it's going to reinforce available school and community resources so that, again, another population that interacts with children knows when and where to get help if they are worried about someone. Getting to the student curriculum. What is new and what has always been a piece? One of the many reasons why schools like the Lifelines model is that it has mental health content reinforced in conversational language. It also is completely devoid of mental health jargon. We are not asking students to diagnose their friends. We are just promoting help-seeking behaviors. Which brings me to my next point. It's problem versus content focused. We know that's correlated to national curriculum standards. It addresses contemporary issues, especially social media, and it uses participatory learning that a lot of schools have utilized in group settings. Let's get into the actual curriculum, starting with the 5th or 6th grade. Remember, you are not delivering this content every year, so this should only be delivered in either 5th or 6th grade. The key points for the 5th and 6th grade curriculum is that it was developed in response to educator requests. In conversations with our Lifeline schools, we heard from many of you that you felt the curriculum needed to go younger than 7th grade. This coincided with data that came out where we saw increasing attempts at earlier ages. The program uses the same theory-based help-seeking and identification of a trusted adult, so it fits in nicely with the 7th through 10th grade curriculum. It employs multiple teaching strategies. There's lectures, group activities, video clips. It recognizes social media as an adolescent communication style and talks about the difference between in-person communications and things that go on online. There's also a take-home letter for parents, informing them of how and why the curriculum is coming from your school. The 7th through 10th grade curriculum, helping myself and my peers. For our 7th through 10th grade curriculum, we know that it empowers students to know how to respond to suicidal peers and friends. It identifies characteristics of trusted adults, reinforces the limits of adolescent responsibilities, encourages help-seeking, identifies resources within the school, uses reinforcement learning to highlight the objectives, and we recently updated it. In 2020, we added new videos. '11th or 12th grade curriculum, helping our students prepare for the transition out of high school. This curriculum briefly reviews the 7th through 10th grade curriculum, addresses assumptions or expectations students may have made about the future, has them consider what to do if those assumptions are unrealistic. Students will assess their current support systems. They'll identify the support they want in the future or in different settings other than the high school. And this can be taught virtually, especially with video capacity. Let's go over the curriculum in more detail. So for the 5th or 6th grade, the first session is going to be entitled Suicide Isn't Silly. We're going to understand reasons for a unit on suicide. We'll explain to students how assumptions affect problem solving. We'll identify basic facts about suicide, and we'll identify helpful versus unhelpful problem solving. Again, all of the handouts are in the flash drive that you received with your Lifelines prevention book, and if you have an online subscription, you can find all of the resources there as well. Session 2 focuses on friends helping friends. You're going to understand a reason for not keeping a secret like suicide. You'll explain the differences between online and in-person communication. You'll identify reasons to take that communication seriously, and you'll know why having a trusted friend is super important. Session 3, asking for help takes courage. We'll identify caring behaviors. We'll view help-seeking as courageous. We'll describe characteristics of helpful people, and we'll identify resources in the school for support. In our final lesson, Session 4, we'll use what we've learned. We'll identify at least one trusted adult. We'll demonstrate willingness to sign a help-seeking pledge, and we'll understand the purpose of the Lifelines card. Remember, when implementing lessons, it's best to stagger the delivery of the content. For instance, if you have a healthcare class once a week, you would deliver the 4 sessions over 4 weeks, not to go longer than a month. However, most schools deliver 2 sessions a week over the course of 2 weeks. It's nice to be able to give the students some time to come up in between the lessons for air. The same thing goes when implementing the curriculum in 7th through 10th grade. You want to remember that it should not be delivered consistently and consecutively each year. If you start in 7th grade, you would skip 8th grade and it would go into 9th grade. If you delivered the 5th or 6th grade content in 6th grade, you would skip 7th and do 8th. It's best practice to deliver the content every other year. In Session 1 for the 7th through 10th grade curriculum, we're going to discuss when is a friend in trouble. We'll explain the reasons for the unit, identify personal reactions to a peer's suicidal behavior, we'll examine how feelings influence actions, and we'll identify basic facts about suicide. In Session 2, we'll understand directly how to help a friend. We're going to identify suicide warning signs using the acronym FACTS. We'll explain 3 basic intervention steps for youth to use with peers, and we'll describe how to ask about suicide directly. In Session 3, we'll talk about where can I go for help. We'll describe implementation steps in peer intervention, identify traits of helpful people, and identify school resources and suicide response protocols. As you can see between the two lessons, we've now given students the tools to identify friends who may be in trouble, but also have given them the school and community resources to talk to somebody and no longer keep the secret of whether or not a friend is at risk for suicide. In the final session, 7th through 10th grade, we'll talk about how you can use what you've learned. We'll demonstrate the ability to help a friend through role plays, as well as the willingness for help seeking through signing a pledge, and they'll understand the purpose of a Lifelines card. As you can see, there's a lot of themes throughout the curriculum that come up again and again in the different curriculum sets. In the 11th and 12th grade curriculum, there's only 2 sessions. The first session is, do you need a crystal ball to see the future? We'll explain the reasons for a unit on transition after high school, identify key intervention steps from the 7th through 10th grade unit, and we'll identify assumptions about high school transitions. Session 2 of the 11th or 12th grade curriculum is on how to get from here to there. We explain how expectations after high school may be unrealistic, we assess current support systems, and we identify where to find resources after high school. Again, all of the resources for these lessons are available on your prevention DVDs or flash drives that came with your textbooks, or are available online if you have an online subscription. So what are some of the additional responsibilities that you have in the role of the curriculum teacher? You need to explain the program prior to the start of the unit. Give students permission to opt out. Always prep your students that in the coming days, a curriculum on suicide prevention will be started and discussed. Have opt-out assignments prepared. Focus on resiliency and not suicide. Again, think about those help-seeking behaviors. We have an activity that will be included with the PowerPoint slide deck that is appropriate for the different age groups as opt-out lessons in case you are in a virtual setting or there are students who need to be in a virtual setting because you are in quarantine. Remember to review everything ahead of time. All of the lesson plans are written out for you in your prevention textbook. Be sure to check your equipment if you're playing the videos that correspond with each lesson plan. Talk to your school's tech team in case you are able to share those DVDs or those videos on a platform such as Google Drive. Pay attention to time limits or adjust them appropriately to block scheduling. If you have specific questions about that, you can reach out to me directly. Know who to tell and what to do if you are concerned about one of your students, and make sure to have information about student resources available in school and in the community. In order to implement the program with fidelity, there are a few key items to remember. You must complete the faculty and parent programs first. Your school should also be sending out a Lifelines letter to parents to inform them of when the curriculum will be occurring. Do not substitute information. Everything that is written in the curriculum is evidence-informed and best practice. You must do all of the sessions listed in the curriculum, and you must do them in order. Finally, don't bunch up on sessions. Remember to spread them out over time to give students the opportunity to come up for air from such a difficult topic to discuss. Finally, I want to thank you all for taking care of our children and incorporating this important curriculum into your healthcare classes.